Hey y'all, I'm out here in my greenhouse today. I want to take you along as we start our first soil blocks of the year. It's January 7th. I'm a week behind, but it's okay. We're going to catch up. So what I have in here is a bin for my dirt, and I keep this in here or wherever it is you're going to start your seedlings. I have a lid that can go on top in order to kind of just keep everything a little bit from drying out. It's still going to dry out a little bit and you'll have to add more water next time, but it just seems to do a little better when I put the lid on. It doesn't get so brittle. I went to Atwood's today and they had my favorite seed starting mix. This is a Jiffy organic seed starting mix. It's super inexpensive compared to some that I've seen, and it works really well. This is 12 quarts and I believe it was $6.99 per bag, which is pretty good from what I've seen. So what I like to do is pour these in to my bin, and I'm going to start with one today. And I have a watering can. I'm going to wet this. I'm going to mix it around so that it will start to absorb. It kind of acts like when you're making bread. Flour takes a few minutes to absorb the water and the moisture. So that's what I'm trying to do here, is get everything absorbed, and I'm going to pick out any stick pieces or anything like that. This particular seed starting mix comes with a little bit of perlite, which is the little white balls. So sometimes, depending on the way it looks, I may add some more. But let's just see kind of how it looks and what it does in the soil block. So here we go. So after I pour a little bit of water in, I take my shovel and start to mix it. It is really just like making bread, honestly. It takes a few minutes for the moisture to be absorbed. This particular bin has like a channel around the outside, so I like to try and mix that all, get all of that incorporated. And this is going to need a little bit more water. It's kind of soupy at this point. It's starting to kind of get a little bit more muddy. What we're looking for once this water is absorbed is for the soil, when you squeeze it in your hand, that it will hold its shape. Because ideally that's what we're doing with our soil blocker. We are pushing it into a form, and we want it to hold that form once we put it on the tray. So that's what we're trying to get to in here. It's really kind of an eyeball situation. For those of you that need an exact amount, I don't have that. I don't think you need it though. It's one of those things where you can kind of see, all right, if it's too wet and you've got too much water sitting in the bottom of your bin, add some more soil. And then if it's too dry, add some more water. You don't have to have a certain ratio. You just want your soil to be moist and retain its shape and hold in the moisture. That is the goal. We want our seedlings to have a constant level of moisture, not too wet where their roots are in water, but never to dry out. That will produce something that is undesirable. It will stop the seedling from sending out its leaves, or stop it in production altogether, where it will die back and just die. So I'm going to add a little bit more water here, not too much, because I want to show you guys what it is I'm going for. Let me bring you in a little closer. This, if you can see here, is where I'm at. The state that we're in is a little bit more muddy. If I were to take some in my hand, some water is going to squeeze out, but it is essentially holding its shape. I want this water to soak in a little bit more. I like to just get my hands in here sometimes, because feeling it It's kind of like making bread. Feeling the texture of everything really helps. See there? So we're going to test this out in a soil block, and I'll take you along with me. Okay, I've kind of got my camera rigged up here so that you guys can see what I'm doing and watch as I create this soil block tray. Before I get started, I wanted to show you how I identify what it is I've planted. This is my tray. It's a 10 by 20, and you can see these numbers here at the top. This is just written in with a permanent marker. It's easily like kind of erasable if I needed to adjust how many rows I was going to have. This one I put in 11 rows of soil blocks, and what I like to do is as I'm starting seeds and documenting what I'm doing, I put an A, B, C, or D depending on how many flats I'm doing that day, and then I put the date on it, and then that translates onto my seed starting worksheet where I can identify, okay, in flat A from January 7th, here's what I planted on each row, and then that can carry down to flat B, flat C. If I did some more tomorrow, I would have A, B, C again, or something of the sort. So it just helps me go, okay, that's the flat that has these tomatoes, etc. in them. So here's how we're going to do this. I like to set my tray somewhere close. I'm trying to squeeze myself in. Hopefully you can see this. But the way that I like to do my soil blocker is I wear a glove because this coil right here can kind of rub your hand a little bit and it wears it out just a bit. But I like to mash my dirt in, and you're looking to get soil that's evenly distributed between the blocks. You don't want like a big, you don't want to have like a big gap on any of these. I kind of smash them in a bit, make sure they're flush, and then I come over to my tray. This one's going in front of number 1 because I can easily still read that. And I pull up on the handle. Oh, that one's still stuck. And lift up. And you can see that I've got 5 little soil blocks. So we're going to do that 11 times, and I have the potential for 55 plants in this one little tray. Isn't that amazing? I think so. So here we go. So you can see in just that short amount of time, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of seed blocks, soil blocks. Just in that little bit of time, I have 6 rows of soil blocks. That's potential for plants upon plants. Isn't that beautiful? I generally like to leave a little bit of space in between each row to help water get through all the channels and get into those interior soil blocks. I'm not really crazy particular about it, but it's just something that I like to do. And then once I get this entire row planted, we'll be able, or this entire flat planted, we'll be able to put seeds in, cover them up with a little bit of soil, sprinkle some vermiculite on top, and put them in the seed starting station. So I hope you're ready to come along with me this year because we are just getting started.